All right, what's up, everybody? Back for another episode of Talking Ship, where we go through old CrossFit media, take a look at what was so great that got us hooked. Super lucky and stoked. Probably the most sought after streamer right now. John Young's decided to join me on very short notice this morning. I just shot him a message this morning, and he was willing to jump on with me after his big performance yesterday in the burpees. What's going on, dude?
Nothing much, man. I'm on cloud nine.
We were just talking about it before we went live. Your burpee per hour rate is probably like, I don't know, what are you making? Almost 50K an hour doing burpees at this point.
Yeah.
If
somebody guaranteed me money, I would still be burpeeing.
Yeah.
As long as the rate was slower.
Yeah, Mr. 459 himself. And also, you were just saying you had no idea what you had for time. You had just picked it up and just wanted to get it done anyway. So, like, you didn't know where you were at.
No, I didn't want to look at the time because if I was behind pace, I would have deteriorated mentally crazily.
What's funny is like you were right on pace, but you couldn't have known it. But you were slowing down, and I think even Taylor was saying this yesterday. But somehow you like dug deep in that last 20, which like I could never do something like that. When I feel like it's going and that press is going, dude, I just can't get myself to go faster, and somehow you did.
Well, I thought I could get a little bit of a buffer and go too fast. Like Taylor was like, he's too fast. And what's funny is like, I'm so proud of my wife because she knows me and she goes, no, Taylor, he needs this time because he's going to blow up and he needs that buffer. And so like, I knew I would have 30 or so burpees. That was like the dark place. And then if I could get to 80, you could hold your breath. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got 1 minute just to send everything in your world. If you were
feeling by like the halfway point that you could already tell things were slowing down, would you have like mailed it in, or do you think you would have kept pushing the way you did? Like, would you have had as strong of a finish even if you knew you were way behind?
No.
Yeah. No. Just curious.
I think as soon as I could not, as soon as I would like didn't think it was possible, it would have been.
Yeah.
It would. But I like. You can do burpees really, really fast when you send it. So like, and what's funny is I felt like I was going so much faster than what it looks like on video. Like I thought the end was the fastest burpees I ever there was to be. Like Colton Mertens couldn't burpee as fast as I was at the end. That's how I felt.
Dude, they looked fast.
Slow. It was still, but
they may have been. Yeah, I mean, what, 1 every 3 seconds or so, but they looked fast. They did. I mean, you're moving a lot more man over the bar than we've watched a whole bunch of people do 100 burpees for time now in the last couple of days, and like it's different with how far you have to travel, how much you're moving. It's just we all know that it's different. But anyway, super awesome. I was thoroughly entertained for the last couple of days with all this shit. So I'm glad you played along, gave into it. And you made some good money.
Got bullied into it and feel like I came out a winner. So
you take the bullying so damn well, though. It's like it's one of your special gifts, I think, is why like you take it so well. You do. You know what though? You take it because all the hate you're getting is like coming from the people who like care the most about you in these shows, and like That's fair. Take it so fucking well. That's awesome. Fair. I like to see it. That's why everyone's rooting for you. All right, let's get into some of the stuff that you suggested. You threw out a video at me. Actually, I had never seen before, never heard of. It's a lifting video with two of the greats, Khalipa and Maddox. Where did you first find this video?
I think Froning's in there too.
No, I don't think he is. I think it's just, maybe he is. I only looked at it super quick. I think it's those two battling. I think Froning may have done this different total at a different time.
Oh,
and they're trying to beat him.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Right. Yeah. But I was trying to think of a video that maybe not everybody had seen, or like, because if you nerd out, you got all the like Big Sky's real popular.
Yeah.
Froning's got some real big ones with like the Isabelle, is 225 Isabelle and stuff like that. And I was trying to think of what's a video that not very many people have seen that is a really cool video. And I remember watching this thinking, okay, these are the numbers that I have to hit for me to be strong. Like I'm officially strong if I can do what these guys are doing. When I first saw this video. So I thought it would be a cool one to look back at.
Was this one of the first? I'm going to start playing it. I'll keep the volume down. Was this one of the first like CrossFit videos that like pulled you in? Like what year did you get started? What were you watching first?
I I started in not till like 2017. So, but this was one of the first one, like 2017, like Matt's coming in, he's, ruling the world, and I'm newly nerding out and just wanted to see the history. And I mean, these guys are doing some of the same numbers that they were then, but they were the guys. So I wanted to see, and Neil Maddox is, he's as strong as, pretty much anybody there is.
He never moved super well, especially like at the game. Or, I mean, he just never was like super technical, but he is probably still so raw and so strong. Like his lifts you'd always expect him in earlier games when he was competing at that individual level to be one of the top clean and jerks or one of the top deadlifts or whatever.
Yeah. And the movement, I just love how much weight he can do with such trash movement. Like it's so bad.
Have you ever gone back and watched like the 2009 games when they had the snatch and all that? Have you watched those lifts?
Yeah, no, I've watched every single thing there is to watch.
I figured. Yeah, that is.
And even Khalifa, like it's fun watching the old greats because other than Rich, none of them move very well.
Right.
And like I know Dan Bailey moved pretty decent, but he would always just try to go as fast as he can on everything. So it would.
And his higher end like technical skills weren't there, and he would miss lifts by a hair over and over and over again because he was just missing that like high end technical stuff. But yeah, he was better than a lot of these guys.
Which how are you in that? I have this argument all the time with people. Like if we're lifting, we're trying to go heavy, like they are in this video, like we're maxing out our clean. If I miss it once, the second I miss, I'm done.
Really?
I put every single thing into like, I have one heavy lift where it's like, this is the end of the world. And I'm typically, I do hit that, but if I like the second I miss, I have nothing left. It's gone.
Well, I think that is probably a product of you being a higher level lifter and you're able to channel your energy better than other people are. So people have all these like blow offs where either their hips are rising too fast or their setup's not great or they miss it forward or something like that happens where it's not that they're not strong enough. It's that they didn't do it well. So with you're probably way more consistent with your technique. And so when you pull and miss, it's just not, those are crazy numbers for back then, by the way.
But you see these misses in the front. Like, yeah, I won't miss a clean like that. If I miss it, I can't stand it up.
Right. And that's my point. So like, you're not missing it on a technical issue. You're missing it on, I just don't have it in the legs today. So when you can call it, whereas others are like, oh, if I make this adjustment or that adjustment, maybe it's there. Like, I think one of the biggest issues CrossFitters had when they lifted
these bench press numbers are pretty sick.
This isn't from doing CrossFit though. This is from their previous life of yeah, exactly. Yeah, these are crazy numbers.
Is this Khalifa?
I think Khalifa's in the blue. Yep. With the foot, legs going crazy legs.
I love how stupid it is. Like, does that make any kind of sense?
It is. Oh, dude, it is like football weight room bench pressing. Like, it's not technical powerlifting bench at all, right? It's like it's just raw. Yeah, it's more fun to watch, honestly. Like when I watch powerlifting, like clips from powerlifting meets, it's so like robotic. It's not that exciting. Like it's fun to watch these regular guys who have built themselves up to this like struggle. The leg kick.
You know what's sad? Like I feel like if he knew how to bench press like a power lifter, he could do 375.
Dude, those numbers are crazy. Yeah, I agree. Those numbers are so crazy too. In the overhead squat. Again, this is, I think, like 2010. I can't see what his shirt says, but this is at least 2010, 2011, back in that range. Oh, baby.
And I think Neil ends up beating Rich, and Jason ends up below Rich.
Do you remember, do they have Rich's total at the end of this?
Yeah. They show Rich's stuff and they show their stuff. I'm more of a fan of this total than I am the CrossFit total.
Why is that?
I just think the CrossFit total is like all brute strength.
Yeah.
And this is like, there's one brute strength movement, and it's like the big dick lift that every guy grows up with.
Right.
And then everything else is Olympic.
Would you like the total best if it was like, well, maybe you like the Olympic lifting better, but if it was like back squat, deadlift, bench press, like, would you like that powerlifting total better?
It'd be the same. It'd be the same.
Yeah.
It would just be like a powerlifting total, but it's called the CrossFit total. And it just feels like a bro total, where this feels to me more like a CrossFit total.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good assessment, I think, because like you did have to have more skill to get that bar overhead, do the overhead squat, which the overhead squat is not, outside of Olympic lifting, it's just not tested unless, you start doing CrossFit. So,
and then one of the hardest lifts to be really good at. This is one of the, like Rich and Matt, like in 2014, if you watch the overhead squat video, like I'm willing to bet, I would love to see the order of rankings on just the overhead squat and where they ended up individually overall at the end of the competition.
From which one?
To be 2014, because I bet it's pretty correlated, and it's a lift, which is stupid. Like, it shouldn't correlate, and I bet it does.
I think you're probably right about that. I think you're dead on about that. Okay. That's fun. I'm gonna play a little clip from something you probably have seen it or you heard of it, but I don't know if you have.
This is the one I didn't know about, right?
Yeah, there's two. These are I think these are actually from 2010. You may have seen them, but let's see if I can pull up the first one. One's going to be just kind of a little highlight video, nothing crazy here. They did a weightlifting meet in 2010, right? CrossFit hosted one.
Did you know about that? I did not know that. No.
Yes. So in 2010, CrossFit hosted a USAW meet. There's Spieler, and they actually had CrossFitters out there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I know. I've never seen a Lico in a CrossFit video ever.
Yeah. So this was pretty cool. They tried getting people to participate all over. And you'll see some games athletes in there. It was sponsored by Rogue back then. Again, Faster made this video. And it's pretty funny to see, because this is early CrossFit. So like Hendel was one of the better CrossFit lifters coming up through the games back in the day.
He had a 300-pound snatch.
Yeah, but you can still see in Josh Everett with the split work. Like, you can still see.
He kills me.
Oh, dude, I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
Kills me.
I'm obsessed with it, dude. It's so fun to watch. He just didn't do anything.
Props to him. But
I know.
It mind boggles me.
So this is just a bunch of highlights from that, but it's going to take us into something a little more fun here in a second, more CrossFitty. I think there's a Hobart clip in here. I think Heather Bergeron. Yep. Chad Vaughn, who wasn't doing CrossFit, but this was like his intro to being part of CrossFit. Now there's James. Yeah. Chad Vaughn, obviously the Olympian, and then James. Young James.
Chad Vaughn, he has a weightlifting a barbell club that some of my girls, we go against his people sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like we've only been to a few Olympic meets, and all of my people are masters people. I don't have anybody that's not a master as far as weightlifting goes.
Yeah,
but we went to a few meets, and there's Vaughn weightlifting are all at the same meet. So he lives around here. I don't know where, but.
Oh, that's
I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Wait, where are you based out of? What state?
Texas.
Oh, in Texas. Okay. Yeah. And I think Chad Vaughn is I think he's still like the Power Monkey Olympic weightlifting coach. So all those Power Monkey camps that people go to, I think he's the coach for that.
Chris Clever.
I mean, that's a pretty good clean for back in the day like that. Like, it's a reason she won the games.
No, she won because she can move better than everybody.
Exactly.
I know we always talk about Rich, but if you really want to really boil it down, Chris Clever was miles ahead of the field in movement, and because her natural ability, and this is not offense to Chris Clever, there's a reason she wasn't competitive anymore.
Right. No, I agree with you.
After winning 2 years, you know what I mean?
Once people caught up with her movement patterns and were moving well, they passed her in capacity, yeah, for sure. But yeah, she was way ahead. Austin, Maliolo, Spencer again. Anyway, I just thought this was kind of funny.
65. That was 315. It wasn't that much. Sorry.
That's all right. All right, enough of the slow motion lifts here. All right, the fun stuff. If you haven't seen this, you probably haven't seen what I'm about to show you, and I get such a kick out of it. I think you will too. Let's see if I can pull it up here. So with the CrossFit partnering with USAW, they did a little event on the side. It was Isabelle off between Josh Everett and Dave Lipson. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Okay.
I've seen Rich versus Klokoff, but like that's like a side by side, right? That's
strap in. We got 5 minutes of
and it's received a lot of notoriety, but this is what we're going to call the World Championship Isabelle off.
Yes.
A little background information we've got.
Oh, I love this.
It's so good, dude.
Baseball player. And we also have Josh Everett, who's very, very well known in the CrossFit community.
This is very in line with what all these throwdowns that Savant's hosting and everything else.
What year is this?
2010.
Special forces in their strength conditioning programs.
So movement quality.
You couldn't pick two like weirder like lifters. like
dude,
you got the bro lifter and who's stronger than everybody, and then Josh Everett who doesn't know how to not split.
And 30 reps fast as you can with 135.
This is probably pre supplemented Dave Lipson,
I would say. Yeah, that's my point, Corey. Movement quality. Yeah. Not quite there, which makes it funny.
Those Isabelle times are pretty insane. It's
Dude,
insane how like
insane.
the capacity that these guys had not moving well.
This is not what
There's Dave, Tony Budding.
Yeah, but it's Josh Everett. I mean, he's one of the strongest men in CrossFit, if not the strongest men.
See, CrossFit used to put on these like super cool random little things that you could watch. I mean, I don't think this was like live or nothing, but you could download this after on whatever, either their website or whatever else. But like this hyped me up more than caring about what their lifts were going to be. Like I couldn't care less what their Olympic lifting total was, but I really wanted to see this.
You could put Guy versus like Adler. And I think people would flock.
You think you'd have to make it heavier though? You think these days?
Yeah. No, I'd say 185.
Oh, that would be sick.
185. Isabelle.
That'd be sick.
Probably be keeping in mind is their previous best.
Right, and it's anybody's game. I mean, we also have to look at any day.
Calling out Dave. It was a different time, Judy. Leave the poor man alone.
I'm rocking with Adler, by the way, in case people would want to guess.
Who are you picking?
Adler, all day.
Wait, Adler's not in this.
No. I said if it was Guy versus Adler, I'd rock versus.
How about your pick on this? Who wins this? You don't know. So
is it regular Isabelle?
It's regular Isabelle, 30 reps. They have judges.
Dave Lipson.
Dave's is sub 1 minute, and then that's his PR before this, and then
215. Josh Everett.
I would say Dave Lipson.
185. Isabelle, this is a 60-kilo lift.
Very true.
It is 30 reps per time. We're going with a big strike zone. We're not doing the old game standard with C in the ear. The barbell just has to get overhead. Arm has to be locked out. Hips and knees open.
Let's hear it for these guys. Come on.
Is that Tony Budding?
Tony Budding's the guy in the ball guy on the microphone. Yep.
We need somebody who like this is their job.
Okay, we are
to find stuff to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Just promote this stuff all year round.
All right, we probably should have had Hiller here to actually count these reps.
I was gonna save this for Hiller but I was like, no, this is too good not to give to John.
It's going to be interesting to see who kind of breaks first and who slows down a little bit and starts to pull back. 10 reps in 15 seconds. You can see the clock.
Way ahead.
Dude, trying to punch.
Lipson's muscle snatches are honestly, I think, way more efficient than what Everett's doing.
Everett's trying to punch Olympic weightlifting plates into a wood platform. Like, it's not rubber on rubber.
But he's punching it out, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
It's just not sustainable.
They still are.
Josh Everett at the side lead.
Losing some reps, and Josh Everett
Wow.
lead right now.
Breaking down a little bit.
Dude. It's getting so messy.
56 seconds, 57 seconds.
Yeah, if you're looking at the pressing out those last few inches every time to get that bar overhead.
Yeah.
Lipson fell behind on a rep there as well.
Photo finish.
Oh, did they finish at the same time? They
Pretty
gave it to
much.
Everett?
They gave it to Everett, squeaked him out. Watch this. The finger lock at the end.
They were going stride for stride there.
Gosh, the difference in size there is crazy.
And if you think that's easy, folks, go grab 135 pounds. Try to take it overhead.
The knee forward, like hit back, shoving, just getting under. It's something else, man.
Photo finish, and there's Josh Everett right there, laughing and joking. If he's still standing at the end of that,
we need to go back to the instant replay and see.
Look at Dave with his like Beatles haircut. It's gonna go like
do it again.
Start a band with Ringo and Paul.
Rest 3 minutes and do it again.
finish.
Yeah, right.
And we'll see.
Look at he was in the shape of a banana when he power snatched that.
Josh really made sure on that last rep that he was fully locked out overhead, and there was going to be.
Oh,
no
now we're
pressure.
talking about him fully being locked
Yeah.
out. This must be Stacy Tovar talking.
Really did. And you
Jesus.
saw Dave Lipson where he broke down. It's really getting that bar up overhead, but then really having 6 inches to press it out at, you know, for those last 10 reps, which that's going to add up a lot.
Dude, that's
right.
That's I gotta say, it's sloppy, it's messy, but that's like just the classic effort that I always wanted to see in these videos. Like at the end, they're just smoked. I like the breakdown personally. Like today, it's so refined. It's just what we expect, right? The movement's so refined through 30 reps, even through 30 reps at 185, like you're saying, they're just gonna know when to drop it sooner and move to a more efficient, like single pace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't go to this level of just like turning into a banana to press out the barbell overhead.
Yeah, you're right. 185 might be too heavy. Then maybe we go 155.
Yeah, maybe. But even still, I still think athletes are so refined now. They won't push to that sort of position. They will never go there because they're just going to pace it a little bit better. That's my opinion. I don't know.
I don't think they care as much.
What do you mean?
I feel like there is less pride, less ego.
Then or now?
Less now. Like there's less who's got the biggest dick in the room. You know what I mean? And and I feel like there was more of that back then. Not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but like that's how you get these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's how you get man on man. We're gonna sell our souls and we're gonna see who comes out. Like, and that's what people want to see. I feel like that's what freaking Colton and Jake just did. You know what I mean? And then like you hug it out at the end. It's
but
like
I think that's
but
rare.
CrossFit.
Yeah, I agree. It is just like a match like that. But I think that's more rare than you're saying. I think the vast majority of athletes today won't put themselves in a situation. Whereas back then, like you brought up the Big Sky thing, like Dave Castro and Big Sky was like,
But
Rich and Dan, come over here.
Do you think they're scared or do you think they just don't? I'm saying they don't care.
They don't care to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I think it's
like if he called out Adler and said, Adler, you're a Canadian punk. You don't know what South America is about to bring to this table, right? And then they went on. Like I think Adler would be like, I'm the fittest man in the world.
So there's probably a few,
you know what I mean?
Totally, but and that's it, and that's where it ends. But so there's a few things they're lacking, then, right? Self-promotion, they're not doing a good job of that because that's going to attract more attention and more eyes on them. I think there is a little bit of fear, the fear of coming up short when everything's focused on them, and it's not just like them in a heat of 10 or 20 athletes at the games or semis or whatever. Like when it's man versus man, like the Berman Colton thing the other day, like that is nerve-wracking. All attention's on you. When you're out there in a field of athletes, if you're not in first place, actually no one's paying attention to what you're doing. So there's less pressure.
Right.
So I feel like people are afraid actually these days to put themselves in situations. Whereas back then, they had the Again Faster Rogue Throwdown where they all just traveled to a lake and threw down for like 3 days straight. They had Big Sky. Just people were way more willing to put their ass on the line for the sake of CrossFit than they are now. That's my
why do you think that is?
I think there's this feeling of, and it has happened to a degree, but professionalism that comes with it. It's the what's in it for me factor. And I think they don't think big picture enough. I think a lot of them are newer to being professional athletes. And a lot of them, are not true professionals yet. And I think they are more worried about the what's in it for me immediate gratification thing than the long-term effect it could have that Colton's creating for himself now, that sort of thing. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I think they're missing out. I think they're missing out then.
Too.
I think if, for instance, I put it like this. If you're Matt Fraser, that would be the right mindset to have, because you have nothing to gain and only everything to lose, right? If Matt Fraser and Vellner went in to battle against something and Vellner beat him, Matt's only losing. If he wins, he's supposed to win. If you're not that guy, which we've only had 3 of, period, I think you only gain popularity, sponsorship, money, fans, anything that you want as far as making a living, unless you're that guy. And I'm sorry to tell you, Jeff, you're not that guy. Then, T is that guy, right? But like,
absolutely.
Unless you're that person, and then if you did it, like, from my media outlet, I don't know about everybody else, but like, I'd be like, saying, I'm happy that you have the balls to do it, right? You're the king of the hill. Show people why, right? Like, I would cheer their name, but unless you're that guy, I think everybody is missing out. What Colton has done for himself these last 3 weeks of just going against Taylor, doing the open announcement. He got beat in the open announcement, and nobody cares.
No,
nobody cares. That
Not at all.
Justin beat Colton in that open announcement.
Nope.
They're going to talk about him probably having the fastest burpees ever, him winning an open announcement, and then about to do these quarterfinals. Like, I think Colton's only gained fans and love. And Jake Berman, you're talk about like people who want to break through the mold. There are so many Jake Bermans out there.
Exactly.
That are there are hundreds of guys that are, if they got super lucky with the events, they could make the games. But it would take them being super lucky. And me and Hiller had a conversation about this. I think he would agree with me. There are hundreds of guys like that. And then there's about 20 that are like, I'm going to make it no matter what.
Yeah,
right.
No,
so
totally. And what's funny is if these shows are not creating the model for how to put yourself out there and take chances and call your shots and do things, then I don't know what is, because you can keep hiding behind the curtain, the fear of coming up short, the fear of, I don't even know. People think if they lose, they're poorly representing themselves, but it's not true. You can lose with humility and give a hell of an effort and still be completely celebrated by everyone in this community, because that's all we care about is seeing somebody laid on the fucking line. Mm-hmm. And not enough people are willing to do that. And that is the difference, I think, with today's like games culture and the games culture of the past. And that's what it's lacking to a certain degree. And like you just said, people like Colton will thrive long beyond however long he wants to compete at the games, because he's going to have such a personality and such a following. People are going to want to keep up with him no matter what, because he puts himself out there, max effort all the time. And when he loses, he shrugs it off and he'll call his next shot. And it's so good to watch. Even Taylor's, not competing, whatever he says, whatever bullshit. I don't know if I believe any.
Depends if squatting comes out in the quarterfinals. Right. If squatting is not in quarterfinals, Taylor is going to make semifinals. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
According to Taylor, he's not even competing. Whatever he says, but he's still a competitor. I want to watch throw down against anybody now, because he's built up this little legacy for himself just in this year alone. And I'll watch him throw down against anybody anytime, and I'm gonna show up for that pay-per-view, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's all you have to do. And people are so scared. They're so afraid. They have immense talent and no mental game. It's completely changed. So anyway, all right.
No, I completely agree. I wish, I don't know how we change that. I feel like there are people who would. I think Ricky would be down for a challenge. I think Roman would be down for a challenge.
Sure.
Jeff might not be. Vellner might not be. He might think he's above that. But
so I guess we need more people to facilitate this shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we change that, but
I think what Savon and you and all these other current, I like to think of the whole crew as like a counterculture to what main CrossFit is. It kind of leads back to what it was. I feel like this is growing and people will want to be on board with this, because there's no other avenue for them to go and be noticed and have a chance to put themselves out there. And it's hard to do on your own. You need a team of people to build each other up, just like, you guys have done so well for yourselves. So hopefully more people, want to step up and put their ass on the line, because I want to watch.
Yeah. And if you're like media, if you're working for media and CrossFit, like, take note. I don't know how you guys aren't seeing what's happening, like, because y'all can do it too, and it feels like you refuse to.
Yeah, I just wonder what their focus is, and It's obviously not this.
Well, it's wrong. It doesn't. It's what doesn't. I don't care what you can say your focus is. It's wrong. What made CrossFit explode is not what y'all are freaking doing. CrossFit.
I could argue. We could argue about that the other way. I could make an argument for HQ in the way they're thinking and doing stuff. It's not the way I want them to do it, but I can make an argument for the way they're doing it. I don't think it's right, but I try to understand their point of view. Anyway,
then make a harder separation between the methodology and the games.
Yep. That's it.
Like if that's what you're getting at, then make that hard, like make that very hard and obvious.
Yes, exactly. And I think, right, it's too blended. And when it's blended as one, then the eggs are in the wrong basket. But if they were more separate, then you could clearly see what the purpose and focus was. Anyway. All right, let's get into.
Sorry. I didn't.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I love this shit. I don't want to keep you too long. So let's get into the final video you suggested today. It's not the old, this is actually the most recent video we've ever done on the show, but it's a good one. And nope, it made me have all the feels because this is heat 1 of the Triple G chipper from 2017. And my boy, Travis Williams, wins the first heat. Travis is going to be a guest on the show very soon too, to talk about the old days. So I'm very excited. So we're going to watch Travis finish things off and then we'll go watch Fraser completely rip this to shreds after.
My favorite Travis Williams thing to watch is that open announcement. I think it's 19.5 where it's like 33, 27, 21, 15, 9 pull-ups and chest to bar and thrusters.
Yeah.
And it takes him like 1 minute to do 9 chest to bar. like he's on Fraser-esque pace and then like just can't move his body for 9 chest to bar. It's amazing.
So I had the privilege of basically coaching. Well, I did coach Travis through his entire CrossFit Games career. It was like you
talk about somebody who will ascend it.
Exactly. And to a fault. It took us years of working together for somebody who will, we would strategize. I would say, you cannot go fucking full on in this event. You're going to have to pace this. And he would nod his head at me. And then he'd go out there and he would hammer the first 5 minutes of anything and be so far ahead. Everyone's like, wow, look how good he's doing. And I would just have to like cover my eyes because I know what's coming like within 2 minutes later, just a meltdown. He still have an okay finish, but not where he should have if he paced. But then years later, he got a lot better and trusted me more and actually started to put some shit together near the end of his career before he decided to go team. But boom, big win for Travis. I remember that vividly.
How mad do you think Josh Bridges is at this 100-pound dumbbell at the end?
Oh, dude. I mean, I feel like Josh at this point in his career was so used to the heavy implement being the downfall. Like he just used his gas to get there.
It's gotta be so just annoying. I don't know how to explain it. But
Paulson with short hair. Look at that. Oh, forgot your dumbbell, pal. Pick it up.
I remember Sevon and behind the scenes on this year. I believe it's 2017. And Josh Bridges was in the last heat. He was in heat 4. He was like 34th place or something like that. And Sevon goes, Josh, I thought you were good. And like, he's like, what happened? and Josh is like, he goes, are you hurt? And then Josh goes, no, Sevon, I just suck. God, it was so funny.
That is fucking awesome. We could do a whole show on old Josh Bridges like highlights from the games that passed, and I probably should do that at some point because he has so many fucking awesome moments when he's like winning Murph, winning that sled pull versus like there are so many crazy Bridges moments in the past.
He's got the craziest clean I've ever seen.
Like one specific one you're thinking of?
Yeah, the clean ladder. I think in 2016, the clean ladder pyramid. It was the last clean with 325. And dude, I think he dislocates both elbows and then gets it. It's the sickest thing.
Oh, he catches it on his chest and then he bounces it up, right? I remember that.
It looks insane.
Yes, I remember that. All right. So here, go ahead.
The reason why I wanted to pick this video, this was the very first time. So I watched the games in 2017 and I legitimately watched the games. My parents been begging me for years to do CrossFit. And
really?
And this was, they were in it in 2014. They were all on the Rich train. Right. And I knew of CrossFit, but I didn't really, I wasn't into it. And then 2017 was the year was like, I'm going to try to do CrossFit. And I was in my dorm room. I was in my dorm room and I watched Fraser do these pistols, and he gets ahead of everybody in these pistols. Like he does these 60 pistols faster than everybody. Like Logan Collins is the only guy who can even come close to him.
Yeah.
And he's like behind everybody, and then does these 60 pistols at a 2 minute. He does 60 pistols in 2 minutes or something like that. And I was like, okay, I need to get to where I could do pistols that fast. And like I don't know why, but that was the first thing I wanted to do, was do 60 pistols that fast, because it worked my legs and I played basketball, so I wanted to, work on my jump and stuff like that. And I thought,
were you training pistols before that?
No,
like
never. I'd never done one.
I'd never done.
No, I'd never been in a CrossFit gym. This is in my college dorm room. Like this is my first time trying to do it. But like pistols was the movement I wanted to get good at. I don't ask me why, but
okay.
And I couldn't do one. And so like, I would just put like one hand on my bed frame and then do one. And then I got where I could do one. And then I did like 30. And then Garrett Fisher is about 3 minutes behind everybody in this workout. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to do 60 pistols at Garrett, and try to stay with Garrett Fisher. And I would just watch this video and clip and just keep rewinding and fast forwarding and try to stay with Garrett Fisher. And whenever I could beat Garrett Fisher, then I tried to beat I picked somebody else and tried to beat them. And then I would try to stay with Matt Fraser. And what's funny is my lungs could not do it. Like I was breathing so heavy by the time I got to 30. And then I finally got where I could do 60 pistols at the same time that Fraser could. And then I walked into a CrossFit gym for the first time, and they never did pistols. So like it never came about. But
that is an insane story to get started in CrossFit, dude. That is insane.
But for some reason I was like, okay, now I'm ready to I think I can do CrossFit. And that was the only movement I could do. I couldn't do butterfly pull-ups. I couldn't do anything.
It's like the people who are like, you have to get fit before you start CrossFit. You decided you were going to race games athletes through 60 pistols for time over and over again until you got to the point you were confident with it. And then you went to a CrossFit gym and probably didn't do another pistol for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And like my legs were strong. I had really good squat endurance.
Went from a pistol specialist to a weightlifting specialist.
Yeah,
did you weightlift in high school or college, like for basketball or anything?
Well, I mean, I did football and lacrosse. Like I did their weightlifting. My dad was really big into weightlifting, so like I did like squatting and benching. I squatted and bench pressed a lot, and that's about it.
Okay.
Not much on Olympic lifting, but like the very first day I went into a CrossFit gym, they had max power clean, and I muscle clean 265. It looked like Neil Maddox, no contact.
Damn.
And I was a little bit smaller than I was like 185. And like they made a big deal about it. It wasn't a very fit gym, but like they made a big deal about it. And I'm like, hey, I think I can be pretty good at weightlifting. And then I watched all the Chinese people because they're the best at weightlifting. So then I got really into Chinese weightlifting and just had a broomstick at home until I looked like them. And then did it with a barbell, and it's history.
Do you think you lift similar to like the Chinese style with the more like upright pulling and all that?
I definitely train more like the Chinese. So like when I for JY barbell, like if anybody signs up, like they're always going to squat first and then do their Olympic lifts after squatting. And then I'm pretty sure America does it reverse. They like Olympic lift and then they squat. But
yeah, I think you're
and
right.
not everybody's the same, but a lot of them, that's what I've seen. And so the way I train people is more from, it's everything that I've like learned studying that. Like the way I train a snatch is the way they teach their people to snatch. It's not like, everybody trains it a little bit differently. And I'm not saying in one way is right or wrong, but it's definitely, I coach people what I have researched the Chinese people coach their kids. They got a million 12-year-olds that look better than every CrossFitter in the world.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're gonna have to change your last name to YUNG.
There's already a person in the comments that's that. So
no way, really?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's like 13 versions of me somewhere in there.
I've seen some of them.
So okay, so you see like there's like 6 people out here, and we'll wait. And there's Fraser, and then he comes out here, takes his time. And then and he takes a couple to get going, but then he starts just doing these squats faster than everybody. There we go. And
Yeah,
then he just starts dancing.
Yeah.
And like, if you get in a rhythm, like you're just kind of dancing. Like you go one foot, then another foot, and like that's how it was. And he got ahead of everybody except Logan Collins, and he was like 10 people behind. And I just tried to keep pace with him. And then whenever I could do that, I went into CrossFit gym.
That's freaking cool. And yeah, those pistols look like unfair, basically. And Fraser's what, 5'7" or something like that?
Oh,
and how tall are you?
5'7" with shoes on. I think he's 5'6". I'm 5'10".
You're 5'10". Okay. So for you to even be able to keep pace 4 inches, essentially 4 inches taller than him is like,
listen,
it's crazy.
My 60th pistol was it's everything I had.
Oh yeah. And it wasn't before, or it wasn't after all the GHD sit-ups.
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you for the update, Judy. We have Black John Young yelling and JY stuttering. Okay.
No, that's me.
I've seen the stuttering one. I've never seen Black John Young, but that's pretty funny too.
He's got his avatar is me in blackface. It's not.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty rough.
Did he pull the blackface picture off your Instagram?
No.
I'm just kidding.
He just made me.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll see in quarterfinals. I've already made my bed with that.
What's your personal goal? And I keep hearing you say you're going to get to semis, or you want to get to semis. Like, do you have a realistic goal for you? I'm not saying that's not realistic. Let me start over.
You're good. You're good.
Do you have like a realistic layout for your goals?
Quarterfinals really, if it's different, I'm going to have to adjust my goals. But like the way quarterfinals was the last 2 years, my goal was like top 150.
Okay.
I was 450 last year, but if it wasn't for the crossovers, I would have been 250. Like I couldn't do the crossovers, and that was my worst event by far. Like it was, I couldn't do them. But the rest of them, I would have been around 250. So 150 was my goal. 150, 100, around that range. But if they're different, they're a little bit more cardio, less power output, or less execution. Like it was a lot of hard skills in quarterfinals the years previous, and I'm really good. The harder it is, I'm really good at it because everybody else is slower, right? Everybody, they can't just speed through it. So so it hurts people's fitness abilities a little bit, and I'm the same.
Yeah.
So I might have to adjust after this year, but the goal right now is 2025. I want to make semifinals in 2025, or at least make a real run at it. Like
okay.
It was 60 people when I made that goal too. So like I want to be.
When you say adjust after this year, what kind of adjustments? You talking about your training, your goals? Like what do you mean by adjust?
Training for sure, but we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. If I'm top 200 in quarterfinals, I don't think my goals need to change.
No, you'd be on track. I think this guy wants to know if you would ever take Taylor as your coach.
Well, I'm pretty comfortable with Coach L right now at Brute Strength. We've been improving every year.
He's got a good track record too, Coach L.
Yeah, and like he's pretty awesome. And I've improved every single year. My mile time, my rowing, my biking, everything is improving and moving in the right direction. It's just staying on the grind.
Yeah,
I really feel like the best people can just outlast, unless you're a phenom. I think they can just outlast everybody, but if you can just stay at it, you know what I mean?
You're saying like no setbacks in terms of like
consistency. My setup right now, my work does not get in my way. Kids, I don't have kids yet. Like there's nothing holding me back from consistently training every single day. And maybe it takes me longer than it would take most, but I think I can do it. So I'm going to shoot for it.
I think that's admirable if you have the ability. Augustus wants to know if you're going to be able to match that intensity in your training from time to time. I know Taylor was harping on that hard yesterday.
Gonna try.
Yeah. And also, like, you can't – I get what Taylor's saying, and I do agree that you got to suffer like that pretty often. But you can't actually get that stimulus and shouldn't get that stimulus from a lot of workouts because, like, when something's
it's
simple,
one workout.
Yeah. Yeah. When something's simple, you can push in a certain way. When something's more complicated, you have to be more strategic because you got a bunch of muscle ups or handstand push-ups, you're limited by other fatigue. So you can't really feel that breathing factor. Otherwise, you're going to ruin your whole workout. But I do agree with Taylor that, you know, a few times a week, you need to get to that point of just complete and utter exhaustion. But, all right, Fraser just whooped the shit out of everybody on this. We're 45 minutes in. That's the sweet spot for this show. So we're going to wrap it up after the last couple guys finish up here. Anything else in the comments, guys? You want to add anything? Want to ask John anything before we wrap things up? Is CrossFit becoming Survivor? Yeah, I'd say you know where it already is Survivor is in the Masters division, because Masters feel like they have to train harder, push harder. They're trying to keep up with it's a game. It's a, as John puts it, who's got the bigger dick sort of thing, throwing it around, who's willing to train more. And that's not advantageous for a lot of Masters. And so it becomes a battle of attrition in that situation where Masters are missing qualifiers, sitting out, whatever, because they have little injuries, whatever. So in that sense, it may be a matter of time till that is what actually happens at the individual level on a bigger scale.
And I want to put forth to people, like, I know I'm not like a semifinals athlete or anything. So whenever I say that's my goal, the reason why I think it's possible is because I'm a top tier strength. If I was at the games, I would get top 5 in every single strength workout there is at the games. And then like hard skills, ring muscle ups, handstand walking, like any hard skill, any version of handstand push up. Like, I'm pretty good at that stuff. So the only thing that's holding me back is my actual fitness. So like if I ever got that to like any kind of level, nothing would hold me back. And that's the only reason why I feel like it's possible, even though it, you know, appears far away.
No, I actually don't think it's as far away as you or others may think it is, because you're dead on with it. You have such a good base. Your consistency in building that capacity it's going to be key. But I think you can do it. All right, man, we're going to wrap up. I appreciate so much that you hopped on this with such short notice. I got to catch a flight in a couple hours back to Hawaii. I'm in Phoenix right now, so I'm going to go back to Hawaii. And
sorry, my wife's leaving for work. That's
all good.
Yeah,
good timing, because we're going to wrap. Anyway, thanks a lot, dude. I'd love to have you on again if you're up for it.
Yeah, safe flights. We'll talk about the workouts a little bit more. I feel like this was interviewing me, but
I feel like we'll all dig into some more conversation here when they release those quarterfinal workouts soon too.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.